All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, one of the biggest name, best trainers in boxing has said who he thinks should be Gervonta Davis's next opponent, and that is a person that would be moving down in weight to fight Gervonta Davis, as it doesn't appear that we're going to get the Shakur Stevenson next. And I did a video yesterday about who just moved in position to get the fight with the WBA. But let's talk about that in detail in this video. All right, first things first, why am I doing this video about who Gervonta Davis will be fighting next or may be fighting next? It is because I've been asked the question so many times, because many people think that Gervonta Davis is out of options and has been outsmarted by prominent boxing people who want to blackball him and box him in. So the question has been, well, who can he possibly fight? And that's why I'm doing this video and why I did the video yesterday, because now Bob Santos has come to speak out about what he thinks is going to happen next or should happen next for Gervonta Davis. And that is for Rayo Valensuela to move back down in weight from 140 pounds to 135 pounds after his win versus Isaac Cruz and get the Gervonta Davis fight. Now, before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It absolutely makes a huge difference to the channel. Thank you, Matty Yo, for your support and the super thanks. And thank you so much for your support, Barbara D, and all of the live streams that we have, and everybody else that comes by. Shout out to my guy, Sean Denton. I hope that you're doing well. Daryl McKinney, good to see you back up on your feet and gotten past that hurdle. Let's talk about this, though, because Gervonta Davis it's being assumed that he doesn't have any fights because Lomachenko turned the fight down. Shakur Stevenson, and let me say this carefully, Shakur Stevenson seems to have other options that may take him in a different direction. I am sure that Shakur Stevenson would take the fight if it was offered and there was a real clean opportunity, but he is being courted by other people, Turki Al-Sheikh specifically, Eddie Hearn, even though it doesn't really look like Eddie Hearn is going to sign him. So it appears as if he's going to do something else in his next fight. Then, of course, you had for Gervonta the most likely next opponent, which many people thought was Isaac Cruz, where either Isaac Cruz, being a small person, would come back down to 135 or Gervonta would go to 140 and they could have their rematch. Well, funny thing happened on the way. On the way to that fight, Pitbull Cruz loses to Rayo Valensuela. So what is he going to do next? According to Bob Santos, and if you're not familiar with Bob Santos is a trainer, trains a lot of Latino fighters, trained Michelle Rivera when Michelle Rivera fought Frank Martin. I do believe that he was also a trainer for, I think he trained the Dominican fighter Hector Garcia when Hector Garcia fought Gervonta Davis. He's been in the corner for some other fights lately. He said that he believes Rayo Valensuela has to go back down to 135, take advantage of this big win that he got over Isaac Cruz, go back down to 135 and fight Gervonta there. Gervonta has, or Rayo Valensuela was on a path to fight Gervonta Davis before. However, he lost and was knocked out by Edwin De Los Santos, the person in the video that I did yesterday that I think is probably the front runner for a fight for Gervonta later this year. Some people said, no, that can't take place because he's coming off of a loss. No, I don't think that's the case, because I don't think that this particular loss that he suffered to Shakur Stevenson was a bad loss, because Shakur Stevenson, according to most people that looked at it, didn't engage in the fight and just kind of moved around. And I do believe it could be an opportunity for Gervonta Davis to fight the same opponent as Shakur Stevenson, which I think would be the first time that took place, if the two are going to fight later. And to knock him out would make it look better. But if that doesn't happen, or some reason that falls off, Rayo Valensuela would work perfectly well too. He is a WBA champion at 140 pounds. So if Gervonta wanted to move up, because he's the WBA champion at 135 and go to 140, Gervonta could do that. Easy, no problem. If Rayo wants to come down, Rayo's last fight was at 135, and that's a huge paycheck for Rayo Valensuela. He could do that as well. I think those are very, very valid options, and I don't think anybody should complain about it if he does either one, because he clearly tried to make the fight with Vasily Lomachenko, and Vasily Lomachenko put him on pause. He said that his team said they are very open for Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson, for the reason that I said earlier, is going to be available. And if that fight happens in the next year, I don't think anybody's really going to be tripping on that very much. So I think it's a very good fight for him, and I think it's a smart move for Gervonta to fight anybody in his next fight, because he needs to keep the momentum going and not become a once-a-year fighter, right? I loved Errol Spence Jr. as a fighter, but Errol's always had this mentality that he's not going to take any tune-ups, he's not going to take any stay busy fights, and I don't think that I don't think that bodes well for fighters, especially fighters, because fighters need to stay sharp. So, and you stay sharp by staying active. Gervonta Davis should stay active. He's always been active. Only time that he wasn't active, I guess he only got in one fight. Or was it one fight this year? He's gotten one fight in this year. So you don't want him 2 fights in last year, 1 fight this year. I think he went 12 months though, because of the prison thing or the jail issue that he had. But he needs to stay active and get in a fight with these 2 dudes, one of these 2 guys. I don't know who else it could be. Really, truly do not know, besides those 2 guys, who it could be. And stay active, get the win. And then if Vasily Lomachenko was interested in talking about it at the beginning of next year, then go to Vasily Lomachenko at the beginning of the year. But let Vasily Lomachenko be the one that set out the year. Don't let Gervonta be the one that set out the year. So make the offer to Rayo, make the offer to Edwin De Los Santos, and get back in the ring in November. Have people cry about it. Do your 400,000 pay-per-views. Do your good pay-per-view. Get that fight off that 6-fight guaranteed money deal. And everybody should live with it, especially since none of the other people either wanted to fight or are available to fight, or in the case of Shakur Stevenson, was engaged in negotiations for who was going to be his promoter and what network home he's going to wind up at. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.